Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody, especially if you are single and or looking for a wonderful relationship that hasn't really shown up yet. What's going on there? We're going to talk about that today on Valentine's Day. But if you're listening or watching this after Valentine's Day, it definitely pertains to you if you fit that category. She is an amazing certified dream builder coach, and we have lots of dreams. Could be professionally, could be personally, and part of that today is the dream of finding the right person that supports you and just fits in your life. How do we find them? What's going on there? Why haven't they shown up? We're going to talk about that today. And she's back with us. Kristina Smith joins us on the program. How are you?
Oh, Steve, I'm doing absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
So this is something, the search for love. It's kind of elusive. And I find, and this is just my perspective, harder than ever now. Harder than ever now. And I haven't put my finger on it, but I hear the same thing from lots of friends, both men and women, that it seemed easier. And I'm not talking about before social media or dating apps where you would just go somewhere, you meet somebody. Even like 3 years ago on apps, it was easier. People were maybe different. I don't know where the shift is. I'd love your thoughts and perspective on that. Why does it seem so hard to find somebody special nowadays?
That's a great question, Steve. I'm glad we're starting there. I think a long time ago, especially, and then we'll come up to more recently. I think a long time ago, we had social networks that were different. Now we are into the tech world, and a lot of stuff is done online, and people show up even in dating apps using pictures of someone else. You know what I'm saying? So in the past, people met people at church or in a local community center, and you got to be around this person. You got to sense, who is this person as a human being? And so relationships kind of, you either moved towards them or moved away from them based on what you were observing and experiencing in real time. It's hard to understand chemistry through an app. It's hard to understand, how does this person appear? So I know that I am 72 and found love for the second time 2 years ago at 70. This gentleman happened to be the cousin of my former next door neighbor. And because I was by myself, I needed a bush trimmed. And this gentleman came over, he went to trim this bush, and I didn't realize, I had seen months ago a bird building a nest in the bush. I literally had forgotten it was there. And when he cut it down, this bird nest actually had 3 baby birds in it.
Oh, no.
And the look of devastation, he was hurt. He was hurt that he cut down this bush. And I felt bad because I'd completely forgotten that I had seen that in the making, but a month or two ago. That told me something about him. That told me something about his heart. I actually fell in love with that man in that moment because he had a good heart. And that is what is important to me. As a confident woman, as a woman who's taken care of herself for a long time, all I was looking for was a companion, somebody who had a good heart, who loved himself and then could love me also. So, but I was in his physical space. We were in the same space together. I got to see something about him that I might not have seen on an app, So it's interesting. Yeah.
Metaphorically, that nest was the building of a future.
Yes.
And it's what turned into be the building of your future.
Mm-hmm.
We can't continue today unless I find out what happened to that nest. That's how I'm wired.
Exactly.
Everything stops. Everything stops right now. What did you guys do?
So actually nothing right away, but I kept telling a close friend of mine, there's something about him. But then we went into COVID And so but I didn't know, even though he was the cousin of my next door neighbor, I never asked her. I literally never asked her, was he married or anything? And I needed something else done in my home that I couldn't do by myself. I had this huge potted plant on my deck. My neighbor has three grown sons that don't live with her, but I called her. I said, look, when one of your sons comes over, would you send them over? I need help moving this off the deck. And she said, why don't you call my cousin and ask him to come over and do it. So I called him and I forgot to ask, is he married? Like if some woman answers the phone or, if this is awkward, like I don't know. So I called him and I said, hey, this is, your next door neighbor's friend. And he said, oh yeah, hi, how are you? And I said, good. And I said, I hope I'm not interrupting your dinner. And he said, no, I'm just sitting here drinking a Long Island iced tea. And I just threw it out there and I said, oh, you'll have to make one of those for me one day. I was trying to get him to say, well, I don't know how my wife will feel.
You were fishing.
I was fishing.
Yeah.
And he didn't, he said, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to do that. So I thought, okay, this is cool. Then like I said, we went into COVID. Literally 2 years went by. And one day after COVID was really winding down, I went to get my mail and I saw him walking up the street. And I said, hey, how are you? We waved and talked. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. I called him and I said, you owe me a Long Island iced tea. And he said, yes. And I said, so when are you going to do that, Sunday or Friday?
Oh, you're not messing around.
Not messing around. I got to see what's going on here.
You're every man's dream come true. It's like, you push the door open, you set it all up. Wow.
He said Friday. And I said, okay. When he walked in my house, Steve, I invited him to my home. I had a sense of who he was.
Mm-hmm.
When he walked in my house, I tell you, this feeling came over me that said, this is the man you're going to be with for the rest of your life. And we talked until 3 o'clock in the morning. We ate, we drank, we talked. He didn't leave until later the next day. And when he went home, he called me. He said, hey, can I say we're in a relationship? And I said, oh, no, sugar. Oh, no. We're partners for life. And he said, oh, my God, that's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
He was thrilled. And we have just been madly in love. I feel like I'm in high school. I literally feel like I'm in high school. It is such a wonderful, wonderful experience.
The way it should be.
It is. Yes. It should be easy. It should be easy.
Do you feel that it's not easy for many? Many, because people are just not emotionally available. Because I'm seeing that more and more and more. And, I've been on dates and it seemed like, yeah, everything's good. There's some potential here. And then I get, I thought I had a wonderful time. Everything was great. You're fantastic. I just realized I'm not ready. And that happened twice in a very short period of time. Like
you felt like you're not ready, or they felt like they
weren't ready.
Okay.
And it wasn't a line. It wasn't
No.
I don't know. They didn't know what to say, so they're going to say it. It was legit because both had recently been out of relationships. One of them was a very challenging relationship, as I learned on the first date. One of them even told their 11-year-old daughter about me 3 days in. Like, I don't suggest that.
Right.
But did. But then realized, she wasn't ready. And, and in other relationships too, of different dynamics, I see that show up. And you might not even know you're not ready, but you're not ready.
Right. So, it's very interesting. My niece is a family psychologist. And because I am also a certified relationship coach, she and I have conversations about what is she seeing among she's literally counseled hundreds and hundreds of couples.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. I really mean that.
And I asked her, what is the number one thing that causes discomfort or people to come to you. And she said, which I kind of thought, but she said it, it's unmet expectations. It's unmet
Hmm.
expectations. I, you know, I don't remember whether I shared this with you previously, but I might have. I have a girlfriend when she got married, and she'd been married for about 6 months and she was already feeling not happy. And I asked her what was it? And as she began to describe it to me, I could see it. She grew up in a household where her father was the head of the household. Did I share this story with you?
No, no.
Okay, her father was the head of the household. He made the big financial decisions. He managed the money. He decided where they were going on like he was the head of the household. Her husband grew up in a household where his mother was the head of the household. She managed the finances. She decided what they were doing and where they were going. So when
Mm,
they come to marriage, they're both expecting that each other is going to do these things.
wow.
And so it was traumatizing because the woman is thinking, that's your job. And the man's thinking, no, that's your job. And the problem is they don't talk about it ahead of time because they don't even realize this is something that they're expecting. I had another couple that I was working with where the woman grew up as an only child. And on Saturdays, they got up and as a family, they cleaned the house and did the laundry. And they started from about 9 a.m. until 12 or 1. And then you could go do whatever you wanted to do. When she,
Why didn't I grow up in that household?
I don't know.
Because my house would be clean right now.
Exactly. Her husband grew up in a family with 9 boys.
Mm,
Saturday morning, they get up and they go play basketball all morning. Mom and dad clean the
mm.
house, whatever, but they went out to play basketball. So when they get married, literally she's getting up thinking we're going to clean house. And he's thinking, no, I'm going to play basketball with my brothers. So it just causes so much conflict. And again, part of the challenge is we don't know what questions to ask, even as we're moving into the relationship and moving down the line to figure out, is this person a good match for me?
Hmm.
Because a lot of times people are feeling like, well, is there chemistry here? Chemistry is important, but there are lots of other things. And you don't have to interview someone like it's a job interview. Okay, what do you think about this? Okay, what do you think about, it's not like that. But they're very smooth ways to have conversations with people to assess, what should happen on a first date, second, third date. And as you're really going down the line, like what are the deeper questions you want to have a conversation about?
I truly believe, and this is, learned in my journey, that people reveal themselves in the very beginning.
Yes.
It's all there.
Yes.
They're showing you, they're
Mhm.
telling you. I was
Mhm.
in a long relationship, and the first thing I heard from this person was she had cheated on her husband
Mhm.
with her best friend, female. So I'm
Oh,
younger at the time, and
yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Right.
Any- that's pretty awesome there, I guess.
Right.
Didn't think anything of it. And as time went on, and I believe everything will be revealed,
Right.
guess what she did?
Yes.
Multiple times.
Yes.
Even after it being exposed and working through it, happened again, and that was the end. So it was all there. That
Yeah.
gentleman you met, he revealed himself in a very positive way
Right.
when you first met him with the bird's nest.
Yes.
He showed who he was. He wasn't. It just came out that way.
Yeah.
Um, I think if we look for the signs, but we don't want to see the signs,
Yes.
or because we're smitten. It's
Mhm.
love walked in the door, angel dropped from the sky. This is it. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh, don't worry about that. This is
Yeah.
great, though. This is great. And the expectations, I think, is real. We don't discuss it. We don't know what the true expectations are. And back to, we're saying the same exact thing, that people aren't really ready for relationships because they haven't figured things out from their past.
Mhm.
And that could be traumas, Or that could be, I'm looking for somebody that cleans their house at 9 a.m. every
Right.
Saturday morning.
Mhm.
And maybe that can change, but it needs to be discussed because that's my fiber.
Mhm.
That's what's in it for me. I was in another relationship where she always wanted to push buttons. Like she loved confrontation. I'm
Mm.
chill. We work it out. It's
Yeah.
all good. It's
Right.
all
Right.
good. And then I figured out, I knew, but then I connected the dots. Her family, her father was abusive,
Mm.
and that was her comfortable
Yep.
spot. And
Yep.
she didn't even realize it. And she would try and engage and, have these explosive discussions. That's not me. I don't do that. So I feel that a lot of times people aren't ready for relationships. They haven't figured themselves out yet.
There's a really good Netflix series. It's a limited series.
Mhm.
It's something like older daters, people who are older who are dating. And it's fascinating to watch them as they go on first date, as they come to realize their own expectations, that they connect with other people and see what that process is like. It's really interesting.
Interesting.
I love watching it.
Gotta look that one up.
Yeah.
It's, I find after you've been around the block of dates and such, you go on your intuition. Because
Yeah.
many times I've found that I'll have a visual of it. This is how it's going to go. This is what this person is like, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just looking, but then I'll say, just go with it. Just see,
Yeah.
maybe you're wrong. Prove
Mhm.
yourself wrong.
Right.
I'm always right, and I'm
Right.
not. I never say those words, but it always turns out to be. It's
Mhm.
exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Well, you know what? Look, I'm glad you said that, Steve, because I want to share something with you that I think is really interesting. So I really tried to eat in a healthy way. I try to get some exercise in and all that kind of good stuff. My love has never been sick a day in his life. And he eats like he's one of these people who probably live to be 108, and he doesn't smoke, but you've heard about these people who smoked every day and they drink whiskey
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they live to be 100. He's probably going to be that person. I laugh at him and say, if I ate the way you ate, and he's not overweight at all, but if I ate the way you ate, I'd be dead in 2 weeks
Hmm.
because he is just so, it's just like whatever he wants. He drinks sodas all day long. He eats pie and ice cream every night.
Wow.
fried foods all day. And he loves to cook, and he loves to cook for me. And so a nice meal will be fried crab cakes, fried potatoes, fried fish, I mean, and I really struggle because I'm really, really busy, which I love. And so it's nice to have someone cook for you. And I thought, how am I going to address this?
Hmm.
So a couple of times I said to him, I'm not like you. I don't have, I'm a female, first of all. I don't have a thyroid. And the third thing is I'm postmenopausal. So I don't burn fat the way you do. And he just couldn't get it. So I thought, okay, I love so much about this man. How am I going to address this? This is what I did, Steve, and this is really important. This is really important.
I am listening.
I started to say, the man I'm in a relationship with loves to eat healthy. The man I'm in a relationship loves to eat healthy. Within 2 weeks of me saying this repeatedly, he said to me, no joke, I know you like to eat healthy. When I fix food for you, I'm going to do a better job. And so now he makes salads, and he'll bring fish to my house, and he'll say, I don't know how to bake fish, but here's fish. And, you can bake it, and we'll have baked fish, a salad, and, maybe a baked potato.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's
Kristina,
powerful. It's powerful.
was that, did you manifest that, put it
Yes,
out into the universe?
yes,
And it's not something you blatantly said those words. He's cooking. My boyfriend cooks healthy. I just
yes,
want you to know that. No, you just to yourself put it
yes.
out into the universe, and then somehow the universe connected with him, and that's
Yeah,
it. That's what he
yeah,
started doing.
yeah.
Wow.
It's very powerful. People don't understand. There are two really good books that I I'm terrible. I buy a book every day of the week, Steve. It's terrible. I should be in a 12-step program.
I've got a book for every day of the week unread sitting in my living room right now.
Terrible.
And guess what?
No.
One of those, if not two, is about manifestation. And I still haven't
Oh,
got 12 pages in, and I still haven't gotten to it.
wait a minute. What do you
'Cause,
know the name of it?
one of them is I'm not going to get the title right, but it's basically the 369 principle. And it's based on Nikolai Tesla, who was a great manifester, and all
Okay.
of his experiments came from manifestation.
Oh, cool.
Hundreds of patents. He invented the motor. He invented
Yeah,
electric.
yeah, yeah,
Um, some say Edison did, but they worked together, and
yeah,
it's been said
yeah.
that Edison kind of just stole it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but he worked, everything he did was based on 3, 6, and 9 numbers
Wow.
that are divisible, and it's a principle.
Okay.
I got like 12 pages in. I still That was a year ago.
Look, let
Uh,
me tell you something. That's my book to buy for today.
you know
So
what?
look,
It's a bestseller.
I have two books that are really, really good. One is called Mind Magic,
Mm,
and it is about manifesting. This gentleman, Dr. James R. Doty, is a physician and a neurosurgeon. He
mm,
understands how the brain works, and he talks about the scientific principles of manifestation. That's one book. The other book is by Joe Dispenza,
mm.
and he's also a neuroscientist, and he has amazing documents and stories that just they're fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. So
Oh,
yes, I know that this principle works, and in the dream building program that I share with people, literally, I talk about the art and science of building dreams. This is not just positive. Let's think positively. No, no, no. There's a
right.
science to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Neuroscience for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Um, you're starting something new related to love. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yes, I'm starting something called the Love Lounge. And it's an opportunity to build a community around people who want to be in a relationship, but who are not, who'd like a companion, but don't have one currently. And I want people to have information. I want people to learn from one another by sharing experiences or things they've learned, especially. I just think it's important because loneliness is an epidemic right in through here. And if we can help people get past being alone and lonely, I think it'll do wonders.
Mm, absolutely. And I don't know if it's still this way, but it was last year, and I think partly a product of COVID. The demographic that is among the the loneliest, and I
Hmm.
would never even think this, is males 25 to 35. And
Hmm.
you would think, yeah, I'm gonna go out, play,
Yeah,
shoot hoops, whatever, hang out with my
right.
friends, go get a beer, whatever. You would never think that that's the reality. And of course, certainly people who are older. Um, yeah, but if you look, there's a lot going out there. There are Facebook groups of
That's right.
singles, all
Right.
different ages.
Hmm.
They have meetups all the time. They call them newbie
Mm,
dinners, and you just show
mm,
up and you just start
mhm,
talking. Everybody's in the same situation.
mhm, mhm.
How do we get into the love lounge?
So let's see. I have posted on Facebook. So I'm Kristina with a K, Kristina Smith, on Facebook, and there pinned at the top of my page is uh, an invite to the Love Lounge, and we're kicking off today. But we're going to meet twice a month, and not just meet for the sake of meeting, but meeting and talking so we can learn and move things forward for people.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
It,
I'm excited.
again, I hear it from friends, men and women,
Hmm.
all different ages,
Yes.
the struggles and the challenges. And, you know, been single for a number of years. It wasn't like that, like three
I
or so
know,
years
I
ago.
know,
No,
I
something
know.
shifted, and I haven't put my finger on it, and neither have they. But it's just different to the point
Yeah.
where, like, just I give up. Just gonna do my life and just do my thing. And when
Don't
somebody
give
walks
up.
in,
Stay open, stay open, stay
yeah,
open.
well, you put the spotlight and microscope on
Good, good, good,
manifesting
good.
it,
Yeah.
manifesting it. You
Yes,
know.
yes, yes.
And I love your example about cooking. Wow. I mean, there it is in its true form and
Oh,
in just a couple of weeks.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Mm,
telling you, it's very profound. So even though I'm doing the Love Lounge, I have other programs where very specifically I help people move, move the needle. Absolutely move the needle.
yeah.
Um, so
Especially when you're stuck in
yeah,
this situation or many others. MyDreamsAccomplished.com. Do I have that right?
yes, my dreams accomplished, mydreamsaccomplished.com. Absolutely.
Christina, great talking with you. Love your transparency and thank you for sharing your story. It gives us
Absolutely.
inspiration and hope.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's a story in everything and we can learn from it. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Steve. What a great conversation. Thank
Yep.
you.
And have a wonderful Valentine's Day night.
Thank you. I will.
I this is the way I think. Like I
Mhm.
would start thinking, me personally, I would like want to buy something that has a Nest connection. Whatever,
Oh,
whatever it
ooh.
is. I don't know. Even if it's a bird feeder, and I bought this for somebody over the holidays, it's a bird feeder with a built-in camera and it pings your phone. So when the birds are up there eating, you get to watch them in full high def.
That's
So I'm just saying,
exciting. That's
yeah,
exciting.
Amazon.
Exciting. Okay, I got you.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks
All
again.
right, take care. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.